The sun and the moon in Libra are assaulted by every possible assaulter in the sky right now. The sun and the moon are basically sitting pretty in typical Libra fashion while surrounded by flames and eruption. So be cute, like manifest and whatever, but don't expect the apartment to have the view of your dreams when it comes your way, I would say. Basically, straight off the bat, like TLDR for this one, mind your own business and stay safe. If you are excited to dive into what we can collectively expect from this new moon in Libra, make sure that you do like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you are always up to date with what the stars have in store for you. You know the drill. Hi, I'm Maren. I am a professional astrologer, author, and current philosophy student. I combine traditional Hellenistic astrological techniques with modern psychological counseling dynamics in order to provide grounded spiritual guidance. If you have not already seen your October forecast for your particular rising sign, the full playlist for your sign, the full playlist that includes your sign will be linked down below so that after this video, you can get the scoop on how this is going to play out in your life. This video is also brought to you by the Astrology Academy. This is a comprehensive deep dive into the foundational concepts of astrology. This course is a comprehensive deep dive into the foundational concepts of astrology that include history, philosophy, technical concepts, counseling considerations, and a step-by-step guide to reading a chart. This is a semester-style course with 8 key modules to work through on your own time, and it includes live calls with me every week to go over the material and gain practical feedback. I've been working on this for months, so excited to have this finally released and refined, and I've gone through several iterations and worked with people on it, and it's now available for those of you who are interested in taking astrology seriously. Information is below, along with a webinar I did on actually learning astrology, the missing piece, where if you're very new to astrology or you don't know if you want to learn more or just, dip your toe in, that webinar is a taste, just a quick run through of what astrology and learning it is, and some resources to get you started. So both the course and the webinar are below. But if the Astrology Academy does speak to your soul, enrollment information is down below, and we would love to have you join for this fall. So for this new moon in Libra, it's happening at 23 degrees of Libra on October 16th, 2020 at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And because the sun and the moon, every new moon they're together, they're at 23 degrees of Libra, which is in something called the Via Obscura. And this is a passageway from 15 degrees of Libra to 15 degrees of Scorpio. And having to do with the astronomy and the constellations there, it's known as hazardous territory. And before anyone is like, oh my god, I have a placement there, is that bad? I have a placement there too. Like, chill, not everything is good or bad, not helpful. But it's just hazardous in the sense that what occurs there tends not to be life enhancing, it tends to be life destructive. So it's hazardous, and that's not either good or bad, as always. Like, before anyone comments, I have something there, is that bad? We don't deal with that in this here. But with it being in the Via Obscura, it is further reiterating the fact that even though this is a new moon, it has a destructive or death-like quality to it, I'm gonna be honest. And it's not even as if you're, you have a chart and you have placements there, it's not that those things are deadly or death, it's just that they're in hazardous territory. They tend to deal with things that are hazardous in terms of the world and society. And with the sun and the moon at 23 degrees, it's also in the third decan of Libra, which corresponds with the Four of Swords tarot card. And Libra itself is ruled by Venus, and the third decan has a little bit of rulership from Jupiter. And Venus and Jupiter are the two benefics, the two life-giving planets. And it's kind of an ironic card to be happening amidst all of this, because this decan and this card of Four of Swords, it has a figure of someone laying down in a church. It's known as the card of truce, and it's this rest from strife that inevitably happens once you go, oof, the conflict is over. But you don't really need this much rest unless some shit has gone down. And with the benefics at play, it's interesting because the sun and the moon are besieged or enclosed by the rays of both malefics. The malefics are Mars and Saturn, and they're enclosing the sun and the moon by degree. Like, literally, the sun and Saturn and Mars are sending rays to trap on either side, with a square from Saturn and an opposition from Mars, the sun and the moon. And when planets are enclosed by the rays of the malefics, it's an alignment of being trapped and going from bad to worse. It literally is one of the most harmful alignments ever, as it involves both malefics and closing a third, or in this case, 2 planets, so 4 planets involved total. It's like being between a rock and a hard place. And what I'm seeing this manifest as us knowing that we're in a crisis, like we are in the middle of a war zone in a crisis, and we know that in the middle of the battlefield, we are setting up a cute little tent and being like, I'm gonna camp out here and create my little home. We're prioritizing our own equilibrium in our own lives, knowing that we cannot control what's outside of us. Like even in the battle zone, we have to make do somehow. The external pressure we're realizing is only as harmful as we allow it to create a story. And it isn't bad or good, it's just unpreferable. And I think that this is a really good time actually for those of you who aren't familiar with Stoic philosophy to maybe like Google it, because it's a very Libran outlook, and it's a philosophy that involves viewing everything as meditative observance and not repressing emotions, but rather writing them out and observing them, and saying that nothing in life is neither good nor bad, it is simply preferable or unpreferable. It seeks to remove all of the prescriptions and the stories and the reactions and breathe and flow and observe life and take it as it comes. And it's a philosophy that really speaks to me, that I've kind of unknowingly been adopting my whole life, but once I had a word for it, I consider myself a Stoic to an extent. No, I do. I study it. I very much live by the principles, and I think it's a really applicable theme to this new moon, because whatever whole sign house this is happening in is calling you to meditate and root down in that area of your life, even out as there's cataclysmic battle happening between the Aries and Capricorn houses. So if you already actually know what house Libra is for you in your natal chart and where this is happening and how the Aries and Capricorn houses are fucking with that, let me know in a comment below. It's a really specific alignment that I think if we know the houses, like we know where this is going to be happening. Mercury is now retrograde as well, and it is still opposite Uranus. And I have a full video either out or coming out soon on Mercury Retrograde do's and don'ts, like a survival guide for Mercury Retrograde. So if you want a rundown on like how to best live alongside a Mercury Retrograde, watch that video below. But this particular Mercury Retrograde, it's kind of annoying because Mercury has been around the opposition to Uranus for like weeks now. Like it's just been around that opposition to Uranus for a while now, and that's explosive, volatile communication. Uranus is like lightning, blow the lid off, blip, like explosion, and Mercury is trying to communicate through that. And this is like a sniper rifle perfectly striking a case of explosives and lighting everything up with one incisive word or something, like we're correcting someone and the teacher explodes. Like in class, like you just mildly correct the teacher and they're like, ah, like that is kind of the mood here. So be careful about what you say. One word could start a fire, and I'm not saying don't. Like if you need to speak your truth, I'm always a proponent of causing the least amount of harm, and that usually indicates honesty on an immediate level, but be careful. Mind your own business and don't hit the sniper rifle of the explosives that you don't need to hit. Venus is also in Virgo right now, and Venus in Virgo is in its fall. It's definitely not ideal. Both of the benefics are in their fall. Jupiter has fallen in Capricorn, Venus has fallen in Virgo. Planets that are in their falls are debilitated by a lack of support. Like they are like known as being depressed, or they're just in an environment that takes a lot of creativity to manage well, because Venus wants to harmonize and Virgo wants to discriminate. And it's difficult to find harmony when you're being critical, and that's not a bad thing. Like we're great at digesting, optimizing, SEO, like optimization, mechanistic, we're great, and that's hard when we're trying to unify with Venus. And though Virgo can have a really good eye for what needs to be removed in order to find harmony, so I think that this speaks to getting out what is not allowing us to form our little hut of oasis of safety in the middle of the battlefield. That this is actually in a pretty like close trine to Jupiter. Venus is trining Jupiter, which is cute. Both benefics are in their fall, so it's not ideal, but it's grounding. It's like, okay, if I'm gonna make it work, if I'm gonna see a light at the end of the tunnel, I'm gonna make it work, and I'm gonna see a light at the end of the tunnel. Like I'm gonna ground here and now. I'm imagining like this island in the middle of a sea of sharks, and this little like beautiful but modest hut that's being made. We're setting up a cute little teepee in the battlefield, and we can only control our responses to things. So that's the focus of this, is not going against our emotions, but rather not reacting based on our emotions. And it doesn't even mean that we should bypass that. I think that actually spiritual bypassing could be a really common manifestation of this, that people are like, I'm not gonna look at that, I'm just gonna be pretty in my Libran area of life. But process through your own shit by still staying aligned in positivity, but sticking to your own path. I would avoid entanglement with other people's issues right now, to really stay par to the course with your own shit. And like if someone swerves into your lane on the highway, protect yourself, but don't go swerving back into their lane. And don't pretend that someone came for you if they didn't as well. So I'd say keep to the rest of your own work, honestly, for the rest of 2020, but particularly with this new moon. Let's pull a tarot card to see what tarot card's gonna come up for this Libra new moon. We have the Magician upright. This card is associated with Mercury. It is the card of you using your magic and your mind and your logic to intentionally declare what you need. So Libra's an air sign, like stick to the mind with this one. This is not an emotionally fulfilling new moon. I would say that the benefics are in their fall too. Like this is like mentally what is preferable, what is the best course of action, what magic, what magician do I need to become to make the most of this. Finally, let's pull the Law of Attraction card to see what Law of Attraction guidance is coming up for us. I attract the essence of whatever pleases me. When you go into your creative workshop, you can begin to assimilate the data that represents your preferences. And as you assimilate the data, you will prepare a picture of self from which you will begin attracting into your experience the essence of all that has been pleasing to you. Yes, assimilating the data, creating based on data and based on sitting down and breathing through the emotions right here. Because if you're going to build a perfect castle in the middle of a volcano, you're gonna want that to be grounded, you're gonna want that to be intelligently made, and you're gonna want that to be long-lasting with logic, not with momentary emotions. So if you enjoyed this and you would like to check out my readings, either they'll be down below or the waitlist will be down below if I'm not taking readings right now. Otherwise, Rashi is also my company that's connecting spiritual practitioners with their ideal clients. So if you want to post your spiritual services on Rashi, we would love to have you join or find your ideal healer on that as well. Otherwise, Astrology Academy is down below. Like, if this speaks to you, if you want to be fluent and prepared in the language of the cosmos, which I think will be so valuable as we move forward in this like new world that's kind of coming in 2021. More to come with that, with videos and info. Astrology enrollment down below. Otherwise, like, subscribe, let me know in the comments how you're feeling about this, where you know that this is happening for you. I'd be interested to hear. Sending so much love, and I will see you in the next one.
There is one